sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6 o'clock. Time to begin our June 5th meeting. This time we'll call ourselves to order. First thing, I'd like to welcome Miss Anthony back. We missed you. We're glad you're back. She's been gone a few weeks, but she's recovering real well, and we're glad to have you back with us. That'll take us next to the consent agenda. And Larry, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. The City Council uses the consent agenda to consider items that are non-controversial and routine. The consent agenda is acted upon by one motion and vote of the council. Items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda at the request of a council member or citizen with the consent of council. The consent agenda contains the following items. Item 1 is for the purpose of approving two sets of budget amendments. The first involves the receipt by the fire department of a reimbursement in the amount of $190 for hazardous material supplies used on hazardous material incident and will be used to replenish department supplies. The second involves three adjustments to recognize activity that was unanticipated. Two of those are for expenses less than $25,000 each, and the third is for $300,000 to address an increase in fuel sales and purchases at the airport. Item 2 is for the purpose of calling for 3 public hearings to receive public comment. The first two involve considering whether to declare properties unfit for human habitation and ordering those dwellings to be demolished and removed. The first of those is located at 613 West Park Drive. Excuse me. The other is located at 503 Winchester Avenue. The third of those public hearings involves a zoning map amendment request and text amendment request for zoning code sections in Chapter 156 involving overlay districts and official zoning map and related overlay districts. Item 3 is for the purpose of awarding the 5-year master service agreement as the airport consultant to Talbot, Bright, and Ellington. Item 4 is for the purpose of awarding the labor forces contract T&D Solutions, Inc. in the amount of $950,000 to employ contract forces for 1 year to assist in the day-to-day operations of the electric system. Item 5 involves minutes and reports. Item 5A involves the disbursements from the City Council's discretionary fund, and there were 3 such sets of disbursements for this period. First of which, Councilmember Marion Holloway made 5 disbursements, which include the Heart for Monroe in the amount of $500, American Red Cross in the amount of $250, Union County Playmakers in the amount of $250, House of Pearls in the amount of $250, Loaves and Fishes of Union County in the amount of $250. Mayor Bobby Kilgore made 1 disbursement to the Martin Luther King Committee in the amount of $225. Councilmember Franco McGee made 2 disbursements, which include one for the Monroe High School band to buy uniforms, band camp, and other expenses in the amount of $200, and the Union County Chamber of Commerce for the Public Policy Luncheon in the amount of $22. Item 5B involves financial reports for April and May. And as a summary, I'll offer and summarize the total fund balance is $27,321,128. And a few of the subsets of total fund balance include fund balance reserved by policy, which sets forth 25% of expenditures, and that currently is $9,479,708. The unassigned general fund balance is $4,111,996, and the total assigned fund balance is $1.8 million and change. There are 4 sets of minutes lettered 5C through F. Item 5G is a summary of contracts awarded, change orders approved, and city manager's settlement of claims. There were 26 contracts for the period totaling $295,000 and change, and there were no claims settled for the period. Item 6 is for the purpose of approving the memorandum of understanding with the Main Street and Rural Planning Center outlining the requirements and benefits for maintaining and having the Main Street community designation. Item 7 is for the purpose of approving the policy of the pre-qualification of bidders for applicable state construction projects, including the Center Theater. Item 8 is for the purpose of awarding a design contract for police headquarters to Stewart Cooper Newell in the amount of $775,000 and to adopt a reimbursement resolution outlining the intent to reimburse the general fund for expenses through the issuance of installment financing. Item 9 is for the purpose of approving the renewal of a reoccurring service and purchase contracts in the water chemical bids for fiscal year 2019. Item 10 is for the purpose of approving the latest revision of the Electric Cities of North Carolina Renewable Energy Generation Interconnection Agreement and to authorize approval levels below 20,000 kW generation to the Energy Services Director and above 20,000 or 20 kW generation to myself, the city manager. Item 11 is for the purpose of approving 3 sets of resolutions. First involves a reimbursement resolution for installment financing associated with the purchase of a fire truck for fiscal year ending 2019. The second and third resolutions are to honor 2 retiring employees with over 25 years of service. Carol Henson, retiring from the Recreation Department, and Michael Wilson from the Water Resources Department. Item 12 is for the purpose of honoring retiring Police Lieutenant David Plyler by awarding him his service sidearm and adopting a resolution in appreciation for his 30 years of service. Item 13 is for the purpose of approving tax releases for the month of April in the amount of $3,194.20, which was created by a change or reduction in the value of the City of Monroe by the Union County Tax Assessor. Item 14 is for the purpose of awarding the contract for the wastewater treatment plant electrical equipment replacement to J.T. Yates Electrical Services, Inc. in the amount of $131,141 and to authorize a 5% contingency allowance. Mayor, members of the City Council, this concludes my synopsis of items placed on the consent agenda for your consideration and action.
Council, have any questions?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, the consent agenda is passed. Regular agenda, item 15, excuse me, zoning map amendment request, text amendment, rest zoning property, to be withdrawn. Who's going to be talking about item 15? That's 3610 West Highway 74, as you know.
The applicant has recently withdrawn their application for this case, so no actions needed.
Okay,
Thank you.
I have a motion.
You need
Don't- I
no
don't
action
need
on,
one?
it's not on 15, no, sir. There's nothing to act on.
Okay, so that just takes care of itself. All right, item 16, intent to abandon portion of High School Drive. It's a public hearing. Who's going to be addressing that? Jim?
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good
City Council is requested to consider a petition from the Union County Board of Education to abandon a small area of High School Drive to facilitate the construction of a new classroom building addition. Union County Public Schools is proposing the addition of the new building, which will require altering the right-of-way for High School Drive. The proposed building is located within the eastern right-of-way of High School Drive, opposite Forest Avenue. You see Forest Avenue on the map, as well as High School Drive, and the building's outlined in gray with the right-of-way that's to be abandoned is shaded in red. The area to be abandoned does not affect the ability of High School Drive to remain open as a publicly maintained street and its use for traffic movement. The proposal is to realign the right-of-way line of High School Drive along the east side of the roadway to provide a 10-foot building setback to meet zoning requirements, abandoning approximately 5,857 square feet of right-of-way. The proposed right-of-way line splits the sidewalk, and there are utilities in the area, including gas and water. Engineering is amenable to the right-of-way abandonment, provided a sidewalk utility street easement is provided 2 feet from the back edge of the sidewalk, and provided it also extends uniform along the length of the relined right-of-way. The requested area allows the City of Monroe a sidewalk utility street easement to replace the vacated right-of-way and provides for the continued maintenance of High School Drive. The request was reviewed by the Public Enterprise Committee at their meeting on May 15, 2018. The committee concurred with staff's finding, recommend contingent upon the provision of the street, sidewalk, and general public utility easement. The matter has also been routed to the various departments and the city's technical review committee for a comment. This resulted in staff changing the original request for the sidewalk street easement to be inclusive of utilities. In compliance with the North Carolina General Statute 168-299, a copy of the resolution of intent has been sent to the adjoining property owners. The street has been posted in 2 places along the maintained right-of-way, and the resolution of intent has been published once a week for 4 consecutive weeks prior to today's public hearing. Resolution R-2018-35, the abandon a portion of the eastern right-of-way of High School Drive opposite Forest Avenue is attached to the City Council's consideration. The Public Enterprise Committee and staff both recommend adoption by City Council contingent upon the provision of the sidewalk utility street easement.
Any questions of Jim? Hearing none, thank you, sir. This is a public hearing. Is anyone here who'd like to speak in favor? And I have one gentleman, Mr. Pope, sign up to speak in favor. If you, this time, Mr. Pope, we recognize you, sir. And if you will, give us the name and address for our clerk.
I am David Pope. My address is 2107 Winthrop Ridge Road, Charlotte. And I'm here to speak on behalf of Union County Public Schools. I'm the facilities project manager for the construction projects. I'd just like to say a few brief things. We don't typically get the cart before the horse like this. If we'd known about this beforehand, but it was discovered by our engineer during his final design research that his survey that we gave him said, in fact, there was a right-of-way there. Typically, we'd go ahead and ask for the abandonment and restructuring of that later and then proceed forward. We knew about a week before the project was going out for bid, so we went forth with the bid because of the bid climate. We didn't want to wait any later, and that's what brings us to this situation today. I want to also point out that with the construction, there will be the benefit that we are constructing this with some drainage improvements that will help High School Drive and the access that will continue to exist along that road. So that will be a benefit for people that still use that area there. I understand from our maintenance department that we have some issues with drainage there. So we would request your approval on this realignment. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pope. Anyone else who would like to speak in favor? Hearing none, is anyone here who would like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and take action.
Motion to adopt the resolution of intent to abandon portion of High School Drive right-of-way.
Second. I have a motion, I have a second.
Yes, sir.
Okay, motion and second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that's passed. Okay. Okay, item B, council action, motion to adopt the resolution budget ordinance. I guess that'd be you, sir.
I think Lisa can offer some of mine.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm Lisa Strickland, the Finance Director. And just a little history, the budget was presented at a workshop in April to the council. We stepped through each department and discussed all of the items that were included in this year's budget. In May, council directed staff to include a 2.5% one-time merit bonus for all employees except for department heads and directors. That was included in the budget resolution that is presented before you tonight. And if there's any questions, we provided budget books that outlined the entire budget presentation that,
Lisa,
sorry.
I know we currently, the budget resolution includes a 2.5% one-time bonus as directed by the council, but I'd like to make a motion to amend the budget amendment to include the department heads and the one-time 2.5% bonus.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I stand, and I'd like to say, The only reason I'm voting no is because I just felt like I had a way that I thought it ought to go. Not that I'm always right, but I just wanted to explain that. I thought it could have been done a little different, and that's just my opinion. I have voted for all the monies in this budget for raises, but I just got to vote no on this because I would have liked to seen it doled out a little different. So I would vote no on that. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, we voted, right? That's passed.
We have to include the amendment.
I'm sorry.
Don't we have to include the amendment in the motion?
I thought he'd read all of it over there.
I think he had made the motion to amend.
To amend it.
To amend the document, and so therefore, it's been approved now. If you still have the public hearing, then what you'll be acting on is what's been amended.
Okay, I make a motion to adopt the resolution and budget ordinances.
No, ma'am,
We
you
have to do
you
the
still need to hold the
public
public hearing.
Okay. Oh, we
So-
gotta get the opposite.
Yeah, you have to let the public actually comment.
Any questions?
Any questions about the budget document as it was presented to council?
Okay. Thank you very much. This is a public hearing. Anyone here who'd like to speak in favor? Hearing none. Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Hearing none.
I'll make the
All right.
motion. To adopt the resolution,
All right.
including the amendment.
Okay. Do I have a second on the amendment? Second. I have a motion, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
So you need to do item C, which is also the approval of the financial plan for the self-insurance funds, or denying that as well.
Can I have the amendment were we actually voting on the budget itself, Mayor? Is that what you're calling the amendment?
No, my understanding amendment is for the 2.5 bonus.
Okay, because I was waiting for us to vote on the budget. We haven't done
You actually already approved the amendment before the public hearing, and then you had the public hearing, which was closed, and then I believe council was moving towards, or may have already voted on.
We just voted on the
The
budget.
resolution and the budget. However, if there is a concern that your vote was not provided,
Okay, I am not voting in favor of the resolution on the budget. I just wanted to make sure that
okay.
that vote was
So
no.
that was two.
Pardon. That was item B. I am voting against the budget.
Well, that's what I voted against also. If I understand it right, yeah,
All
okay.
right, so,
Now-
just so the clerk, I think just to verify then, it was a 5-2 vote to approve item B, which is the budget. Is
Okay.
that correct?
Did everyone vote in favor for
If I was
the
going-
amendment to
Bobby,
include?
I think you got it wrong. I think you're voting against the, adding the, budget. I mean, our department heads, but you're voting, you were for the budget. Is that
Yeah,
not?
that's what I'm voting for the budget.
That's, I
But what-
think you got it wrong.
And it's what, I may be wrong, but let me be sure let's get this right. Yeah, I'm not against the budget because I have voted in the budget to put money in there for raises. What I'm voting against is the 2.5 bonus. And the reason I want to say, as I have said, it's not against folks getting raises, it's I just want to do it a little different. And it not that makes me right or anybody wrong. Everybody's got their own opinion.
Mayor, I think then we may need a clarification, because council already voted on the amendment to the resolution.
That
And you just
was-
have now, was your vote on the resolution regarding the budget in favor of the budget or in opposition of the budget?
I'm in
As
favor,
amended.
I'm in favor of the budget. No, but my understanding was the amendment is to amend the budget
Yes, sir.
to allow the 2.5.
Yes, sir.
I voted against the amendment.
And that, I believe you already had
Is that what you voted
2.5.
against, Bill?
That was,
I'm voting against the budget.
Okay, all right.
so then, so I believe then with the amendment was then a 6-1 vote with you were you were the only vote in opposition. The remainder of council voted for the amendment. So then, now at the budget vote, I know Councilmember Jordan voted in opposition to the budget. Mayor, was your vote in favor of the budget or opposed to the budget? Not the amendment, but the budget itself.
I'll vote for the
as
budget.
amended.
I'll vote for the budget because I just said I voted for all that other, and I have no problem with it. So I'll vote for the budget,
Then
yeah.
I think then, to verify for the clerk, then the vote on the budget was 6-1.
So voting against it would be voting against the raises I just talked about.
And now you have item C, Mayor.
Okay. Oh, gosh, okay, we got it.
Okay, so you need a motion now for item C.
That's correct.
Motion to approve the financial plan for self-insurance funds.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that'll pass.
I'd like to commend Lisa and her staff and Larry, and I thought the budget went very well.
Yeah, and I would commend her and all the other folks who worked on the budget, had their fingers into the budget, because it's a big job, and I think you did a good job. So thank y'all for all of you, what you did in preparing the budget. Item 18 is the public comment period, and after that, we're gonna do a closed session. Anyone here who would like to address the council on anything? Public comment. Hearing none,
Mayor, I have a few things I want to bring up before we go into closed session.
all right.
Couple things. There is a car seat safety check this Saturday from 9 to 1. Our traffic division is putting that on at the farmer's market on the Skyway, so that's this Saturday, 9 to 1, car seat safety check. Of course, it's free, and we do have certified techs that'll be there to assist with that. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Captain Beth Green and our animal division, Ted and Tim. I know that they have rescued several animals lately that would not be with us today if they had not stepped in and assisted with that. One in particular, I think Goldie is doing much better, I believe. And that was a great job to save that little one. And also, if people would just be mindful that it is getting where we have very hot, humid days. Please don't leave animals unattended in cars that are not running. That is so dangerous. And we certainly don't want to see any of our animals in trouble because they're in a hot car and they don't need to be treated that way, and they need water this time of year. We got to remember, for our outside animals, they have to have access to water when we start hitting these 90 and 95 degree days. Also for our children, please, please, please. I'm talking to the residents in general because I know we're live on YouTube now. Just please, please, please don't leave a child in a car that's not running. That's so dangerous, and it can be so risky for the health of that child. And we want to be safe as a city, and we want our little animals to be safe, and we want our children to be safe. And I know I've done this before, but I thank our law enforcement, and I thank our fire department for what they do this time of year to keep everybody safe. That's all I've got.
Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to go in closed
I
session.
move to go into closed session pursuant to NCGS section 143-3-2.11, A1, A4, A5, prevent disclosure of information that is privileged or confidential pursuant to the law of this state or of the United States, are not considered a public traffic within the meaning of chapter 132 of the general statute, to discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the areas served by the public body, including agreement on a tentative list of economic development incentives that may be offered by the public body in negotiations, and to establish or to instruct the council staff or negotiating agents concerning the decision to be taken by or on behalf of the council in negotiating the price and other material terms of a contract or proposed contract for the acquisition of real property by purchase, option, exchange, or lease.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll go into closed session. Have a good one, gentlemen, ladies.